If you want to play like Justin Thomas, you need to start setting golf goals. You don't actually have to play quite as good as JT. You need to learn how to set golf goals. This is something he does every year, shares it with the world, and something that we can all do as an everyday amateur golfer. Make sure to watch all the way through because the last point, I make sure to go over the number one thing you need to do with every goal you set. Since quitting my job in 2017, I've played over 200 tournament days of golf, including Q School in 2019. So I know what it takes to really set goals and achieve them, and I want to help you finally reach your golf potential and make it your best year ever. Regardless of when you're watching this video, it's time to set goals. So before getting into it, I wanted to share my goals to give you a little glimpse of what I'm trying to achieve heading into 2023. As you can tell, they're pretty lofty goals, including becoming the #1 Arizona amateur golfer. But without lofty goals, you're not going to stretch yourself and really become the type of player that you can. If you guys want to keep up with my journey, make sure to follow on Instagram or TikTok at WickedSmartGolf. So before getting into the goals, let's talk about two types of goals. We have process goals and outcome goals. We're not going to go over any SMART goal setting today because I think that that's a broken model and quite frankly doesn't work well with golf. Instead, we need process and outcome goals. The problem I see with most golfers is that almost every golfer just sets outcome goals. I want to be a club champion. I want to be a scratch golfer. I want to finally break 90. Now, outcome goals are great and super motivating, but without a process to actually achieve your outcome, it's going to be nearly impossible to make it happen. So start by setting your big outcome goals. This is time to dream big. Really shoot for the stars here. I see that so many people in life and in golf just set too small of goals that are easily achievable. Instead, put a goal out there that's really going to make you become a better golfer and really going to make you put in the work both in your body and your mind. Win a tournament, break 75 for the first time, finish top 10 5 times in your men's club, improve your swing by 5 miles per hour or more, average less than 30 putts in competitive rounds, or outcome goals give you a clear vision or long-term goal for the year. These are your guiding force. This is kind of that overarching thing that is going to keep you motivated even when you don't feel like practicing, even when you don't want to learn more about the mental game, even when you don't want to work on your short game. You're constantly thinking about these golf goals so you're motivated and ready to improve. Before getting into the next step, I do want to share one thing I learned from David McKenzie from Golf State of Mind. He was a guest on my podcast, Wicked Smart Golf, and I'll never forget, we had a mental golf coaching session years ago when I first quit my job and was getting into tournaments, and he said something that I will always remember. Never try to win a specific tournament. So for example, if you have a member at your country club, don't put on your goal list, I want to win the member this year. The reason you don't want to put specific emphasis on one event over another is because it puts too much pressure. If you notice, even JT's goals don't say win the Masters or win the US Open. It says something like win a major or win this many tour events. When you try and win a specific event, you're just going to put too much pressure on yourself, and rarely, if ever, is it actually going to happen. So again, I want you to be set up for success. So setting goals is great, but don't set them for specific events. For each goal that you set, then you're going to want to start setting process goals. Again, process goals are going to be how you actually achieve these big picture outcome goals. So for example, if your goal is to add 5 miles per hour swing speed because you know that 5 miles per hour is an extra 15 yards of distance, 5 extra miles is going to mean 15 yards longer. And that's a great goal to set because the longer you hit it off the tee, the easier this game gets. So if your goal is speed training, that might mean following super speed protocols, 3 to 4 times a week speed training, 10 to 15 minutes, and really getting into a routine. So when you have these goals though, again, we need to chop them down so that way they're tangible and there's something you can stick with. So what's great about a goal like that is Super Speed actually provides training protocols on how much they recommend practicing, what you should be practicing, and how long it should take. By having a goal like that, it's super easy to follow. But for other goals, they're going to be a lot more intangible. For example, if you want to win a golf tournament, that's going to be a lot different, and you're going to probably need to chunk that out into different goals. Other good process goals might be something like get a lesson once per month, travel to 1 bucket list course, use speed training sticks 3 times a week, play at least 3 new courses this year, play 18 holes at least 4 times a month, work on my short game 3 days a week, hire a trainer to work out at least 3 times a week, hit a large bucket of balls with your wedges just 1 day a week. Those are some good examples of process goals. But again, it's gonna change based on your outcome goals. To make your golf goals more achievable, what I like to do is actually chunk them out into different types of goals. The first type of goal is a practice goal. As you know, if you're never working on your game, it's gonna be really hard to actually see improvement. The problem is most golfers are out there practicing the wrong way. They hit way too many balls, they're constantly working on their swing, they avoid the short game, and a lot of other mistakes that I talk about inside my book, Wicked Smart Golf. So if you actually want to reach your golf goals, we need to improve our practice sessions. Now, don't get me wrong, that doesn't mean you need to go to the range every single day, hit a large bucket, and instantly you're going to get better. Golf gods do not give you extra credit for spending more time and money on these golf balls. Instead, it's about practicing with purpose. Some good practice goals might be something like make 100 3-footers every single week, read 3 mental game books this year, work on short game twice as much as your long game, get a bunker lesson to build confidence from the sand, go through a full pre-shot routine with every ball in a small bucket 1 day per week. These are things that you can measure. One of the reasons so many people don't achieve their goals is because they're too broad and they're too vague. As Jack Canfield, the author of Success Principles, said, vague goals equal vague results. So when you actually attach numbers that are measurable to your goals, they're going to make them 10 times more likely to actually happen. Another type of process goal is on-course goals. So here are some good examples. For example, if you're working on your attitude like me, don't throw any clubs. Eliminate negative self-talk. If you wouldn't say it to your competitor, don't say it to yourself. I talk about this in the mental tips video and a lot of other videos on the channel, but you need to be very careful about your self-talk. Because no matter what you say to yourself, your mind is always listening. And if you constantly are berating yourself and telling yourself you're a bad putter or you always miss right, you're gonna keep doing those things. Instead, we have to change our self-talk to start playing better without swing changes. Another good goal that you should set is to go through your pre-shot routine as much as possible. In a perfect world, of course, I want you to have 100% of all shots during the day, but let's get real. Sometimes it doesn't happen, you get flustered, you're in a rush, whatever the case, but you want to try and aim for maybe 80 or 90%, and these are something you can actually track. During the round on a scorecard, give a little check when you actually made sure to go through your full routine for any shot or putt. Another good goal might be to take 3 big deep breaths after a blow-up hole. Warm up at least 30 minutes before each round. Track stats after each round using an app like Decade Golf to analyze performance. While we went over a lot of good process and outcome goals, there are some goals that you need to avoid. A good example might be, I want to drive it longer. What is longer? 1 yard, 5 yards, 10 yards, 20 yards? Our mind needs specificity, so make sure to write out your goals with numbers. That way you can actually measure them when you evaluate them 6 months or a year later. Probably the biggest golf goal I hear from everyone is I want to play more consistently. Who doesn't? But what does that actually mean? Does that mean you want to average a 72 over the season? Does that mean you want to shoot an 88 on average? What does that mean? We need to get specific instead of saying goals like I want to drive it longer or I want to play more consistently. Those are goals that every player has. Another thing to do is review your goals regularly. So many people create goals around the new year and then they never look at them. But if you're not looking at something consistently, your mind is not going to know it's an actual emphasis in your life. For example, that's why a lot of people use vision boards and maybe put something on their screensaver on their computer or their wallpaper on their phone. Again, review your goals regularly. Maybe it's every night, maybe it's every morning, maybe it's at lunch. Whatever it is, set some sort of ritual so you're consistently reviewing your goals so you're more likely to make them happen. So just a quick recap, we want to set outcome and process goals. Outcome goals are going to be the big picture goals. They're going to motivate you, they're going to inspire you, but you need a process to actually make them happen. It'd be like setting a goal that I want to lose 20 pounds, but then you don't have any plan on what you should be eating or going to the gym a certain amount of days. You need process goals to make your outcome goals happen. Then break those outcome goals out so that way you have a plan in place every single week to help you get one step closer to achieving your goals. To help you achieve a lot of those goals, make sure to check out my book, Wicked Smart Golf, where I go over 111 ways to play better golf without changing your swing. These are the principles that I used to go from shooting in the 120s to the 70s in a matter of 4 years in high school, and I know that you can apply any and all of these as well. Make sure to hit the comment box and let me know what your biggest golf goal is. If you like this video, make sure to give it a like, hit the subscribe, and turn on the bell for notifications so you don't miss any of these epic videos to play better without changing your swing.